standing desk. I can do all these movements. I mean, think of all the activities we can do in this space. Think of the activities. Let's watch.
I have an idea.
What's up?
What if you guys just talk to me about it and we can clean up everything after we're done?
Oh, so Riley chiming in like this and doing well with it indicates a pretty strong possibility that she has witnessed many of these fights and has learned that she has to step in, which is just abhorrent. You know, it's one thing to fight. It's another thing to ruin a child's life through your fighting. That's just a complete, she's an innocent person. You know, for Liz, depending on what's actually happening, she has enough agency, hopefully, to leave the relationship or to advocate for herself. And plus, she's an adult. She has the developmental milestones crossed such that she has been given the opportunity at least to differentiate and to have a stable ego. Riley is not at that point yet. She's too young. She's vulnerable. She doesn't have the power to leave the situation. So for Liz and Ed, you know, if they harm each other in their arguments and in their relationship, you know, we could argue that Ed is coercive and gaslighting and whatnot, but Riley is an innocent person and should not be there. And the fact that they're not editing, you know, they didn't hush themselves. In previous seasons, Riley wasn't there. This is the first season that Riley's here. And they would go after each other in a certain manner. And I guess I was hoping that if Riley was there, that they would at least try to modify it. There didn't seem to be any effort here. They were spontaneously going at each other the way they normally do, which is worrisome. I can't know what's happening, but there are indications, you know. If Riley had said nothing and had just shut down or slinked away or something, that would have been more encouraging, because that meant that maybe this was new to her, or she hadn't been elected by the system yet to become the peacemaker. So the fact that we're seeing that, and the fact that I think it's going to work, or that she does it pretty well, and that she's so confident in her effort. Let's rewind that.
I have an idea.
What's up?
What if you guys just talk to me about it and we can clean up everything after we're done?
You know what I mean? I have an idea. What's that? Well, I mean, you know, that's an adult way of talking. You know, if she had said something like, "You guys stop it," okay, then that would still indicate that she's suffering, but it wouldn't indicate a track record. And it's possible that Riley has been doing this with multiple partners for Liz, right? Because she reportedly, from Liz, has probably been exposed to a lot of problems. And who knows what's happening even in Riley's other households, right? Because she's with the biological father most of the time, so who knows what's going on? Who knows? But according to Liz, that partner was abusive, right? I mean, Liz said she was married twice to two abusive people. So, but was the father of Riley one of the husbands? You know, could have been. Anyway.
That's a great idea. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead.
Going to couples therapy in Florida.
Okay, it seemed to work, which is good, I guess, but just a terrible indication. I mean, it's because another possibility is that the two of them actually subconsciously or even consciously rely on Riley. You'd be surprised. I've heard parents say, I remember when we were watching Tiffany and Ronald from South Africa. Tiffany was her name, right? Or anyway, I know it was Ronald, but she had her son Daniel, right? And he was very adult-like and would give very adult advice to his mom. He's like 10, 11 years old at the time, about dating and stuff. And she, off camera or away from him in a one-on-one interview, would talk about, oh, he's such an old soul. He's so mature. And I've said this before, I'll say it again, that if you have an overly mature child, there's a possibility that that child has had to sacrifice their childhood and become mature because of the pressures that have been put upon them. To observe an old soul. Now, some people are just kind of old souls, and they're already a grandpa when they're 10 in some ways, their preferences or the kinds of ways that they talk or something. Sometimes only kids or oldest children can be that way because they've only hung out with adults. Only children have been found to grow up a little bit faster when it comes to socializing. Not always, but often because they just aren't around other kids in their daily life. You know what I mean? So there's a possibility of that. But there's a difference between that and this sort of thing, where you would not want a child. I think she's around 11 or something. What she did was so adept, and it worked. So there's a possibility that they subconsciously need her to be this, and were more cavalier and more reckless in their fight, knowing, well, she's going to step in. They might even consciously want her to step in because they find that that's what works, because it is what works. But of course, at what cost? At what cost? At what cost? At what cost? We are watching, as a therapist, often I am dealing with the Rileys of the world when they're 45 and their lives and their relationships are falling apart, and they come to therapy, and we're recalling these things as happening decades before. It's another thing to watch it as it's happening, right? Because for both of them, for Ed and Liz, something went wrong when they were a child, and they went through difficulties when they were young children, her age. That's in the past. To watch it happen right now is hard. And it was one of the actual nice things about being a family therapist, was that I could actually witness and be there at ground zero before, or in the moment of opportunity to actually turn things around. Some damage would have already been done by the time I saw the family, but I could alleviate and help to get the family on a different track so that it wouldn't be furthered, the harm. All right, just chiming in here. The rest of this episode will be just for members of the YouTube channel. So if you want to watch this whole episode and many, many other member-exclusive videos, become a member of the YouTube channel by clicking the join button below. Otherwise, please take care of yourself because you deserve it. You really, really do.